Hey, it's Trudy, and I am here to talk a little bit about the astrological configurations that are coming in for June of 2020, especially the ones that are causing some of the volatility. Um, Mars is actually currently in Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about social, the big picture of the social arena, like equal rights, how we're treated. The water bearer is the symbol of Aquarius. It's not eccentric and nutty like I think tends to apply to it, but it's like looking for equal rights and humanity to be at its best. So this is definitely fueling a little bit of the fire right now, and I also feel that that going that transit of Mars in Aquarius goes till about June 19th when it goes into Pisces. And Mars in Pisces is way more subdued and subtle. So I don't, we might have to still endure a couple of weeks of maybe this tension. Also, we have the North Node, or Rahu in Indian astrology, it's called, and still so close to Mercury. So, and that conjunction happened last week. So that is still Mercury's communication, and the North Node is basically, angst, and giving us this feeling of uneasiness, pushing it. The North Node pushes us out into the world. So just a North Node and Mercury hanging out together, and Mercury is strong, it's in its own sign. So that is really getting us to speak up. Mars in Aquarius is fighting for our rights. Um, and then what happens is we have the lunar eclipse is going to be uh, in the Scorpio Taurus axis. So when an eclipse is dealing with Scorpio, it's going to be intense. So we're going to have a lot of deep feelings. People are still going to fight for the rights because Scorpio doesn't, it's sensitive and it doesn't want to get messed with. And it doesn't want other people to be messed with. This degree of Scorpio that we're dealing with in Indian astrology is called Jayesta, or like the big sister, sometimes it's called, and the symbol is an umbrella. So with that being said, there's a very protective force right now coming in, and this is what these people are feeling. So again, eclipse season, always have been studying this for years, and since I applied astronomy to astrology, which a lot of people don't know, Western astrology doesn't use true astronomy. But when you apply astronomy to astrology, you really do get the feeling and energies that astrology is really talking about much clearer, because it's actually accurate, and that accurate um, you can make a reading the leaves in a driveway, okay? But if we're going to use astrology, this accurate astronomy being applied really makes a difference to describe current reality. But anyway, so we also get Mercury then retrograding around June 19th. So you can see I feel like we're going to get escalated into this full moon, which is coming up on June 5th. And again, it's a lunar eclipse. So eclipse season, you got to lay low. You got to take it easy. And you got to be cautious, especially in crowds. It's just the thing. It's the negativity and that can flare up when the eclipse nodes are aligned it's classic. So not that you can avoid it, because you're going to feel the stress and maybe extra angst this month from the eclipses. So we have two partial lunar eclipses. So that's two full moons and a new moon in the middle. 2 weeks and then 2 weeks. Now we're going to get Mercury retrograding by the time we get to the new moon. The new moon. That's 2 weeks from the 15th. So we're going to have Mercury retrograding, Mars entering Pisces, and the Sun going into Gemini. So a lot of air signs are in the mix right now. So air can bring a lot of ideologies into the picture. And a lot of just nothing's really so grounded when everything's in air. But we do at least have Venus in Taurus, though it's retrograding. And that will go direct as we get towards the end of the month, around the 24th. So that will give us a little bit more, way more grounded feeling. And by July 1st, we get Jupiter back in its own sign of Sagittarius. So we got another like maybe 2 weeks that this could escalate, or it could still like stick around as an issue, all the volatility. So the best thing to do in the eclipse season, I hate to say this, especially the day of the lunar eclipse and around a couple of days around the solar eclipse, which is the new moon is the solar eclipse, is to just lay low and, know that it's a little wicky-wacky out there right now. And, we're going to be opening up from a 3-month quarantine with this crazy energy. So, yeah, the angst is in the air. Watch your fellow human beings and take a step back if you need, and do enough self-care so that you don't get yourself into any snag out there. And just be aware and cautious. That's all. Okay, so I don't like it when I tell you like all this, negative stuff. But 4 retrogrades is a pretty rare event, and we're going to have 4 retrogrades for about like a week or so after around the 18th, 19th, until Venus breaks it by going direct around the 24th, 25th. So, it's going to be just like to add also to this. I would also like to talk about Saturn conjunct Pluto, which came in exact the end of December and was in the eclipse of January with Pluto. This is a very tough energy, Saturn and Pluto. You can't ignore it, and they move slow, and right now they're both retrograding back towards each other. Saturn moves a little slower. So this conjunction of them that was exact in January was joined by Mars in March, April, and into early May, causing, everything to me, after everything, Capricorn equals contraction, okay? It's getting down to business, following rules, doing the right thing, okay? It's not a lot of fun, Capricorn, okay? So that's what we've been dealing with, is a lot of no fun planets that are just this like mighty powerhouse out there. Even though this other stuff's going on, we still have to deal with that conjunction for the rest of the year. And it really takes until the end of September. As Saturn moves direct, it will get away from Pluto, and we'll have less of those effects as we get into 2021. But 2020 is really the year to digest the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So that's something that we are still under the effects of, and it's not going to go away. And it's going to cause a lot of things. I don't think this is an easy transit, and it's going to transform us, though. It's very transformational, and it'll give us a different orientation once it's over. It's not just dealing with dreadful stuff, but it's the side effects of the dreadful stuff that create new outcomes. And we still have Venus combust the sun for the whole first week of June, so we're going to be feeling that sort of, are we feeling really treated fairly in relationships? And do insecurities around relationships are going to come up? And if it's a time of protest, maybe on a grand scale, people are realizing who's being treated fairly. We're not being treated fairly. And that is going to be coming up more this week. All right, well, talk to you soon, and catch up with you as we get into the month. Bye-bye.